I'm going to show you this video. I actually found it whilst we were talking. I didn't want to play this in front of Marilyn. I'm sure she's seen it anyway. But this is what we're talking about when it comes to you've got a reporter, someone in the press who is speaking within Israel, looking across to Gaza, and you've got the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, the police, who are watching them. And I'll just play it for you. And I don't do this to necessarily demonize the IDF. I mean, I'm not even going to necessarily get into that debate. But when we talk about what it looks like, what it smells like, what it feels like, and then you put this video onto it, then you'll understand maybe a bit more.
מה אתה מדווח? רגע, אני בשידור. אז מה אם אתה בשידור? מה אתה מדווח? מה אתה מדווח? לא מעניין אותי אם אתה בשידור. מדווח מה אומר דובר צה"ל. מה אומר דובר צה"ל? מקווה מאוד שאתם אומרים דברים טובים. הבנת אותי? מקווה מאוד שאתם אומרים דברים טובים, וכל החמאס האלה צריכים לשחוט אותם. הבנת אותי?
عناصر من الشرطة الإسرائيلية يحاولون
أو يراقبون ما الذي نتحدث for the people listening on audio. He came to me screaming and threatening me. That's the reporter speaking for those listening to the audio podcast. And then the police officer comes back in front of the screen and says, we'll turn Gaza to dust. We will turn Gaza to dust. That is the response from the IDF. And I know probably many of you have seen that. But, you know, just wanted to share it with you. There's something else I want to get to as well about this subject matter. Very, very interesting, the response that I had. At about 4 hours ago, I put out a tweet that we'd be speaking to the Alternative Jewish Voices this evening at 9 p.m. And Twitter did some interesting things. Some people who scream free speech from the rooftops did some interesting things. So here's our old mate Karen Plunket and his Twitter feed. I put out a tweet that said that we'd be talking to the Alternative Jewish Voice, and Sean Plunket put out a tweet immediately saying, please report this spreading of disinformation by a moron. I don't know who the moron is he's talking about, but Sean Plunket, the person who screams free speech, free speech, free speech always from the rooftop, he's also in the same camp of people who say, oh, how can you complain about something you've never read? Those people. When I put out there that I was speaking to the IJV tonight, he tweeted out to his 24-ish thousand followers that he wanted them to report my tweet as disinformation. Hadn't heard the interview, doesn't believe about free speech. Because if you believe free speech, why would you want to get it reported? One of the interesting things about this is he got quite a lot of pushback from the people who obviously follow him. I only found this because someone messaged it to me. Israel, this is Ben says, Israel said they hit a hospital with Hamas in it right after the incident happened. Did I miss something? I don't know if that statement is true. I did a bit of looking for that and I couldn't find something. Ben says, where is the disinformation, Sean? It appears to be an Israeli strike. Again, opinion. Are you yelling at a mirror again? Are you for real? NewsHub first thing this morning reported that it was an Israeli airstrike and there was 500 plus killed before they could even know in either way. Someone else says, fan of cancel culture. Are you, Sean? Hypocrite. Echo chamber for you. So it was, I find it particular. And then of course, because it's his audience, there had to be, weren't you pro-vaccine, pop up in the middle of it all. Disinformation question mark, even BBC, CNN and other mainstream media outlets are reporting that Israel did this. So really interesting. And one particular person who doesn't like me said this, a guy called Michael says this, he is a moron, it's me, but it's not disinformation. I thought we all hated censorship here. And I actually responded, I don't normally respond to tweets, I responded to that by saying, careful Michael, you're cottoning on to Karen Plunket's grift, where he shouts free speech. He's only talking about his own speech and speech he approves of. Michael's response to that was, I haven't liked Plunket in years, but the last week has shown how many of those champions of free speech, freedom of oppression, are just amoral assholes. Unfortunately, it took a bombing of a hospital by Israel to out them. To be clear, I don't think much of you either. fair. All's fair. But it was really interesting to look at the response online, just mentioning that the alternative Jewish voices were coming on. Those people who scream free speech. I've had a couple of people who are involved with the Free Speech Union. One who's a Jewish person who I know that I've talked about blocking some people in the last few weeks, is one of the people I've blocked. So I'm sure he's going off his nut as well. But if it's free speech, then whether our guest was completely right or wrong, whether our guest was a psyop or a plant or authentic and real, if it's free speech to these people, then it's free speech. But as soon as it's some kind of speech they want to push back against, all of a sudden that free speech that they scream from the rooftops just disappears. Goes bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye.